Hi guys, Dave here, Dave's LFC Chats, and I've got a legend with me today, an absolute legend from the Anfield Wrap. It's Gareth Roberts. Oh my God, great to have you on, bro. Hoping to get you on for a while. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Looking forward to the footy next week. Been a long time without it. It's absolutely mad that it's going to be 3.5 months since we last seen Liverpool play a Premier League match. But yeah, can't wait, mate.
It's absolutely, it's surreal. It's the word I'd use. I mean, how have you coped with the COVID, the lockdown? How have you been coping?
Yeah, up and down. I think like everyone else, mate, I've not really enjoyed having so much time on my own and stuck in a flat and that kind of thing. But we've cracked on at the Anfield Wrap. We've made it. The lads have all made it busy. We kept on churning out the content, the podcast, the videos, stuff for the website, Right and Wise and things like that as well. So we've kept busy, we've kept going. Obviously it was quite worrying from every aspect in that, obviously it's a business that relies on football, it relies on Liverpool, and all that stopped. The pause button was pressed, and so you wondered how people would react. But the support for the Anfield Wrap has been absolutely brilliant all the way through. We've had loads of good feedback, and thankfully, the vast majority of subscribers have stayed with us, so that's been brilliant for us.
It is. It's brilliant. It's similar with the Red Men. I know the lads at Red Men TV as well are similar to you, but I think the Anfield Wrap, you do tours and everything. I've met you in Dublin. You've come over to Ireland every year. I think you originally started your first shows in Bray a few years ago.
That's right, yeah.
Where it all started. And, they're great shows. If anybody hasn't been at an Anfield Wrap live show, you gotta go. You just gotta go because they're absolutely brilliant. The other thing about the Anfield Wrap is it's not just about Liverpool Football Club, really. It's about to me, it's about the whole social fabric of Liverpool City. It's all about the whole scout. It's everything, isn't it? It's not just Liverpool Football Club.
Yeah, and that's always what we wanted, mate, with it, to be honest. When we started it up way back when, now 2011 was when it went live, but we were doing stuff a few months before that in terms of setting all of the business side of it up and getting the website right and all that kind of stuff. And we always wanted it to be that, really. There were, even back then, there was a couple of podcasts kicking around about Liverpool, but they weren't from Liverpool and they weren't from match-going fans in Liverpool. And that's where we thought we could do something different. For me, there's a place for everyone in this world in terms of producing content and stuff. But, yeah, so that's what I was going to say. I'm not having a go at you, Dave, for 1 second. What I'm saying is we had a group of people there in the city, and what we wanted to do was get ourselves in a room and record professionally and go from there. Because, as I say, I'd had a crack myself at 1 or 2 things. We'd done stuff over Skype and stuff all up way back 2010 time, that kind of thing. With this, when me and Andy Heaton were talking about it, we were saying, we want to get in a studio, we want to get it recorded professionally, and just see, like, we felt that there was a niche there, but that, it's only ever a feeling, isn't it? And you've got to basically do it and see what happens. And so we did it, saw what happened, and what happened was that it went really, really well from day one, and it was brilliant to see the support for it back then and the support all the way through. And I think it was August 2011 that the website went live. And so by March 2012, we'd been offered a radio show, which was, it blew our minds because, none of us really had any great broadcast journalism experience or anything like that. And yet here was Steve Hoddesall from Radio City, Liverpool, saying, I'd like you to do a show, lads. I've heard the podcast, think it's good, think it could work as radio, just don't swear. And we were like, oh, shit.
You can swear here, don't worry.
But it was, honestly, mate, it's been great, and it's been a great journey, and really enjoyed doing it all the way along. Ups and downs, like there is with anything and everything. We've made mistakes along the way as well, it's fair to say. But I think, everyone involved's really proud of the fact that, we've got a city centre office and studio. We've been able to give some young people jobs and things like that. And hopefully it'll continue to go from strength to strength, and we can continue to give people jobs in the city.
Yeah, no, it is brilliant. And as well as that, you're all just down-to-earth blokes and girls. I know Lizzie Doyle's involved as well. But they're just down-to-earth, normal people. A lot of people think, the Anfield Wrap, there's Neil Atkinson over there, there's John Gibbons, there's Gareth Roberts. They're really asking you for autographs, you know what I mean? But these are normal blokes and normal football. You all love Liverpool like I do. But I think because he's from Liverpool, he's got the accent, the Scouse accent. I think it helps. I really do. I think it helps get the whole feeling across Liverpool. I think it does.
Yeah, and like what you said before about sort of getting across about what Liverpool's like, we've always wanted to do that because, listen, Liverpool suffered around the idea of stereotypes and what it's like and what the people are like and all that. And we're proud of the fact that, a lot of people come to the city to watch Liverpool and go away not only loving the football team, but loving the city and loving the people. And the more that happens, then it's absolutely brilliant for Liverpool. And so part of the thing, as I said before, with the Anfield Wrap was always, well, let's talk about the footy. But let's talk about too, what our city's like, why our city's great, why people should come here, why people should have a night out, why people should go and see the sights. And, I think hopefully it's helped in a small way for that to happen. And lots of people, which is lovely, do come to Liverpool and they subscribe to the Anfield Wrap or they listen to the Anfield Wrap in general. And they'll look us up when they're in the city. They'll say, it's my first time in the city, but, among the reasons I wanted to come is you guys like talking about it. And stuff like that. So, always brilliant to hear. And we're always happy when that happens for people to come and see us at the office and for us to show, we'll show them around the studio. We'll have a bit of a chat with them and all that kind of stuff. All that's absolutely lovely. And I think, none of us, when we started it up way back in 2011, thought we'd get to where we are now with it. We love every minute of it. We want to keep it going. And if it helps to bring people to Liverpool, brilliant.
And to help it keep it going, you're up against the BBC, I think, for the British Podcast Awards. You came second last year. I think the BBC just beat you, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right, mate. We've come second 3 times for the Listener's Choice Awards, so we're trying to win it this time around. There's a bit of a story about someone at the BBC. I'm not going to name names, but I was on a show and he was we were sound checking and he was like, I heard you guys were winning like right up to the last few days and then we picked you last year, and I was like, bastard. So that's sort of I think that's spurred us on a little bit, and we really love to win it this year. So if anyone who's listening who hasn't voted for us, if you'd like to give us a vote, we'd love you to do that. It's the BritishPodcastAwards.com. Go to there, look up the Listener's Choice, search for the Anfield Wrap, vote for us. You have to verify your email and stuff like that to make sure it hasn't gone into your spam or your trash or whatever. But yeah, we're hopeful that this can be the year that we pick the BBC and win the thing. It'd just be nice in general to do that this time around.
It'd be nice timing to win it with us just on the pinnacle of winning number 19, wouldn't it?
I know. Well, that's the big dream, isn't it, mate? I mean, I think, I think we're on safe ground saying Liverpool are going to win the league now. It's just a case of when and how that happens. Obviously, we're still clinging to the dream that it could be at Goodison Park, but that would obviously require Arsenal being decent, and they haven't been decent very much, let's be honest. So it probably won't be the Goodison Park derby.
Palace maybe, at Anfield it looks like, doesn't it?
But it'll be, I mean, whatever it is, mate, it'll be nice, won't it? And I think, look, we've all had to get used to the fact now that, we're not going to be there and we're not going to get to party in the way we wanted to party. But nevertheless, I mean, what a moment it will still be when Liverpool finally win the title after 30 years. And we've even had to beat Mother Nature. We've even had to beat a virus to win the title. So, some people are saying it's going to have an asterisk against it because of the circumstances. No. Any asterisk against it is going to be this has been the hardest title ever to win because we've had to beat coronavirus as well as all the other teams.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, only could happen to Liverpool. You're waiting 3 goddamn decades to win the bloody league. I mean, I thought we should have won it last year, to be honest, Gareth. I think last year we really were. I think we were better than City last year. We could have won it, should have won it, didn't win it. And then I was like this, oh no. I remember I was in Liverpool the last game of the season. I think it was Wolves. We beat them 2-0 at Anfield, and I was in the Hotel Tia, which you know very well. Yeah. And I know Ragnall there. Great. That's a great spot, that Hotel Tia, isn't it?
Yeah.
Carlsberg place out the back. That's brilliant. And I just remember saying, we're never going to win this. I mean, I just thought 97, like the points we had last year. I was saying, how are we going to do that again? And we just, I think the Champions League win against Spurs, that glass ceiling that we broke, obviously his first trophy, that just opened up everything for us. It really did. Then we the Super Cup, then we the Club World Cup, and now it's going to get the Premier League. I just think that was the catalyst. Do you not think? I know we were probably going to get there, but
no,
the actual trophy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. I think you've been a Red a long time, as have I, and you've had these sort of false dawns in the past where we've come close, and then you've thought, okay, we'll win it next year, and then so 08, 09, 13, 14, you can go back further than that and say there was a campaign under Houllier where it looked like we had a really good chance, and every time really it seemed to be sort of boom then bust. We'd go close and then we'd fall away, quite heavily fall away, and players would leave and managers would leave and there'd be various problems. The difference has been this time is just the place that Jürgen Klopp gets them to mentally over and over again is absolutely brilliant. And you're right to say that, when we lose the European Cup in Kiev, and in mad circumstances actually play quite well, but obviously lose out and the carrier situation and everything else. And I worried then. I went to Kiev and I worried then, is that a huge psychological blow for this group? How are they going to bounce back? Will they bounce back? They did bounce back. But then, as you say, 97 points in any other season was winning as the league. I think we spared City on, to get the total that they did.
True.
But I almost count that. I've got to be honest. I almost count that as a trophy. And what I mean by that is, I know Bill Shankly said that first is first and second is nowhere. But in that circumstance, to play that well across 38 games, to get 97 points and to not win it, they deserved every credit in the world to do that. And then, as you say, to bounce back, to be able to win the European Cup in the way they did. And they actually did, there's an argument to say they didn't play as well against Spurs as they did against Real Madrid.
I was just about to say that. We actually played better against Madrid, I thought.
But it, it was more of a steely sort of performance. It was more about experience, about mental strength, and just getting through it that way. And I think, those past experience, those past disappointments drove them on. And then they've gone, and then even after all that, they've gone again to get, to be 6 points away from guaranteeing a 19th title as well. So, what we're watching is one of, if not the very best version of Liverpool Football Club ever. Yeah. I would say there's a strong argument for. And that's why, to be honest with you, mate, I like an argument, it's fair to say, and I'm trying to sort of scale that down and not have as many arguments. Yeah. But I do get wound up when people have a pop at me when we're talking on the Anfield Wrap, and I'm saying, look, everything is in a good place right now, and it's like, well, what about Werner and what about FSG? What about our spending? And I honestly can't get too on board with it, because we're European champions, we're World Club champions, we won the Super Cup, we're going to win the Premier League. This is one of the greatest times of Liverpool support in life, and I'm not really up for being negative at the moment.
Yeah, it's like, what do the fans want? This is the question. I seen a thing the other day, and actually I seen your reaction to it. I think Neil Atkinson, you were talking to Neil about it. The FSG out, the Klopp out. I mean, what are they talking about? As you just said, we're in dreamland, the Area 51 level we're at here. Like, we literally are. We're in Area 51, and for me, the way I look at Liverpool, as you say, I'm following Liverpool probably since about 84, 85 season, in around there. I'm a lot older than I look. But anyway, so for me, as you say, they probably are one of the best teams ever. They're definitely the best Premier League team, obviously, but they're probably the best team ever, yeah. Football's different now, as you know, than it was in the 80s and even the 90s. It's a different animal. The football, the training grounds, even the players are different, aren't they? It's a different era we're in. So for me, right now, for anybody to give out about FSG or Klopp out is just either deranged or aren't even really Liverpool fans. It's basic. It's as simple as that. I think the rival fans or something just putting it in Twitter.
I just think, I think sometimes, and this is almost a separate chat in itself. I just think social media doesn't help, does it? And people want to be very black and white in the thinking when there is some grey. Look, Timo Werner, would I have liked to have seen him play for Liverpool? Of course I would. Was I on board with us buying him? Of course I was. Did they expect us to buy him? Yes, I did. And was I disappointed when it didn't happen? Yeah. But all of those, we talked already, about the times that we're in, the situation that we're in with the pandemic and everything else. You've seen already Manchester United have come out and said, already we've lost approximately £28 million off the coronavirus crisis situation. Liverpool, you would imagine, would be similar figures. Equally, you can't guarantee when there's going to be fans back in the stadium. You can't guarantee what any future TV deal is going to be at the moment, the situation around sponsors. And what I would say about FSG and what I think is fair about them is they can be conservative at times.
Yeah.
But equally, they've done a lot of good work at Liverpool. Equally as well, I think Jürgen Klopp can be conservative at times. He loves working with a group of players, and he's very particular about bringing someone in that might disrupt that group. And there was the story way back when now, but when we were getting Virgil van Dijk, obviously, Southampton, given all the tapping up stuff, and when Liverpool got warned over that and everything else, it was always going to be the case that when Liverpool went knocking again officially, that Southampton could go, we can ask for a fortune now on the back of what you did. And that's exactly what they did. And the story went that Jürgen Klopp needed convincing to spend the money that Virgil van Dijk cost. He didn't want to do it. He thought it was too much. But the rest of his team said, no, we've got to get him. He's going to transform our back four. He's going to help us win things. Pay the money. Don't worry too much about it and crack on. And so in the end, he was convinced. But you remember Mourinho when Klopp was sort of saying about, he wasn't really into everything being about checkbooks and money.
Yeah.
He was more into coaching and that kind of thing. Then obviously he does spend the money, and Mourinho was straight in front of the microphone saying, hang on, you said you didn't want to spend any money, in typical Mourinho fashion. But, so Klopp's being conservative as well. I just think, there is nothing to fly off the handle about. We're living in great times, Dave, in terms of football, not in terms of the wider world. Obviously.
Yeah. But as you say, I think if Klopp really wants a player, I think he'd get it, to be honest with you. I think he's got that such a good, with Tom Werner and obviously Michael Edwards and on FSG themselves. I mean, they love him. We all love him.
Yeah,
he's like a god. So if he really wants a player, if he really wanted Timo Werner, I think they'd get him.
Yeah,
I think they'd get him.
I think that is. I mean, I think Jürgen Klopp's fairly honest. He's not one of these politician football managers. He wears his heart on his chest, and I genuinely think if he was consistently pissed off by the ownership, he wouldn't have signed a new contract. He wouldn't be staying. And, I think what he said about the Werner situation, whereby he was saying, I can't turn around to players and say, listen, you might have to forego this bonus, or you might have to take a bit of a pay cut, or you might not get this. And then at the same time, bring a lad in who's on 200 grand a week that you've paid 50 million quid for. Like, you think about it, Dave, we've won all those trophies that we're proud to talk about just a minute ago. But remember when FSG arrived, they said that financially the club was not in a good place, and they couldn't believe some of the contracts that average players were on, really.
Yeah.
They were guaranteed good money regardless, really, and FSG moved more to an incentivized wage bill, basically. And so given that that's the case, they will have had to fork out a lot of money because that group of players has won all those trophies. They're also on the verge of winning the Premier League. Like, can you imagine what's written in all those contracts if these players win the Premier League? They're going to
bonus city.
They're going to have to fork out huge bonuses, and the players deserve it. But, I think they budgeted for Werner. I think they budgeted for players to go out the other way as well, though. So they probably expected Shaqiri to go, maybe Origi, probably Lovren, Harry Wilson, maybe Grujic, all these players. And soon enough, you've added up probably about 60 million quid going out.
Yeah, easily.
And so that pays for Werner, and that pays for his wages. But now, you can't guarantee that clubs where all of those players might have gone to will want to buy them. So there's a huge uncertainty around it all. And I think it's fair to say what they've done is all right. But, that doesn't seem to be good enough for some people. They want you to have the pitchforks out. They want you to be saying, no, these owners are terrible or whatever. It's just the nature of some fans, it seems.
Yeah, no, it is. And considering we didn't really sign anybody last year, I mean, we brought in Adrian as a backup. I mean, young Harvey Elliott, who I think is could be unbelievable. And then we brought Minamino in January. And I think there's another one. There's Minamino. there's Naby Keita, who Naby played today in the 6-0 win against Blackburn. Apparently played very well. There's two players there I'd like to see a lot more of, which we didn't really see. They're like two new signings, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you got Curtis Jones kicking around as well.
Yeah.
And, as I just said there before, Klopp loves to develop a player. Klopp loves for there to be a pathway for that player. And look, we all love Trent Alexander-Arnold now, and we all talk about him being, world class, one of the best in his position in the world, and all that kind of stuff. But you remember when he was sort of parachuted into the team, Old Trafford away. People were like, well, what's the manager doing here? Who's this fella? Is he ready for this and all that? But the reason he's developed to the player that he is now is because he got that chance and the manager gave him that chance. If Jürgen Klopp spends a load of money on, ready-made players and blocks the pathway for Curtis Jones, for Harvey Elliott, for other players who are kicking around, there's an argument to say they don't develop in the way that we'd want them to develop. Yeah. So it's about striking the balance. I think Liverpool, when we've got more certainty, will be up for spending money. I don't really agree with this idea that, all of a sudden the purse strings have been tightened up and, they're all pulling the wool over our eyes and they don't want to spend money. For me, the whole, I had people like tweeting me saying, oh, we're a sell to buy club now then.
What?
No, we're just a sensibly run business now, I would say. I mean, I can honestly remember, mate, when we had Hicks and Gillette and I was running a fanzine back then. Called Well Read, and the stuff we were printing and the information we were finding out about how bad the situation was, and the banks were being called in and all the rest of it. It was a really, really grim situation. Made even more grim by the fact that we appoint Roy Hodgson and buy a load of strike players. So you look back to those times, and I can remember writing and saying at the time, all we want is the club to be run within its own means. That I'd be quite happy with that, and that's what's happening now. So I'd be a bit of a hypocrite if I was like, FSG, they need to be putting their hands in the pocket, they need to be doing this, that, and the other. And obviously, you've got to take into consideration as well. I said this on the Anfield Wraps podcast this week, that we've built a new stand, we're building a new training ground, we want to redevelop Anfield Road as well. All of those things require money and budget and everything else. So yeah, I'm all right with keeping me. Another thing is said on the Anfield Wrap. Sorry for just repeating that, but I'm all right keeping me pitchfork in the shed for now. We're all right. We're all right across the board.
Yeah, exactly. Plus another thing, we're tying down all our senior players to long contract. Yeah. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Melissa Reddy reported, didn't she, that we're apparently talking to Van Dijk and we're talking to Allison and we're trying to get those boys tied down. As you say, yeah, it'll cost a lot of money because, FSG bought those players at a certain level. They've gone to another level. Van Dijk at Southampton cost 70 odd million. What does Van Dijk at Liverpool now cost? He's probably the best centre half in the world. So, you can say the same about Alisson, you can say the same about Mo Salah, you can say the same about Mane when he was at Southampton. I mean, when Mane come from Southampton, I can remember, people were saying, oh yeah, Man United looked at him and turned away. You had, he'd fell out with Ronald Koeman, I think, at times. He'd been late and things like that. There was a line where people were saying, he's very streaky in terms of his goal scoring. So he'll be good for a while, then he'll fall off a cliff and you don't really get any consistency out of him. Now, you wouldn't say that about him now, would you? He's now, again, he's one of the best players in the world. Mo Salah's one of the best players in the world. Fabinho is one of the best holding midfielders in the world. And on we go. So you've got to constantly put everything into context and talk about bigger pictures rather than just losing your shit over one transfer.
Yeah, as you say, we seem to make superstars rather than buy them, don't we? That's basically what we do. But unbelievable, Klopp. I mean, I'm in dreamland. You're in dreamland. I can see it in your face. It's dreamland. What's your plan for when we win it? Have you got to celebrate? Have you got a bottle of champagne in the fridge?
I've got nothing like that, to be honest. I know a few lads who've said things over the years like, oh, I'm going to get like a really expensive bottle of champagne, or I'm going to smoke some mad cigar, or, whatever it may be. I haven't really got like some big plan. I mean, what I've always said, and it's obviously more difficult for me to do this now, but this is what I'm still going to try and do, I think. Lots of people had grand plans around, when we finally win the league.
Yeah.
Mine was always really simple, and mine was just that when that happens, I want to see the lads that I've always gone the match with and just look in their eyes and say, lads, we've done it. Lads,
get in!
Get it! Lads, we are finally champions. Like, we've waited 3 decades to see this. We're there. Cheers. And, like, as things stand, I'm probably going to have to go in the park to go and do that. But I'm definitely going to go and do it. This idea that, we can't celebrate it or we won't celebrate it. Every single one of us will find a way, won't we? I'm sure you'll find a way as well.
We'll do it in our own way, as you said.
Yeah.
I mean, it won't be the same, obviously, but we'll definitely do it in our own way. I mean, I had the thing booked and all to go over to Liverpool for the parade, which was meant to be in May. I was ready to go, but obviously that didn't happen. But it's just, as I'm going to let you go now in a minute, Gareth. Thank you very much for coming on, but absolutely brilliant. But as I said, vote for the Anfield Wrap and the British Podcast Awards, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so vote for
I can't say it myself. BritishPodcastAwards.com. Yeah. It's the listeners vote award that we're after the vote for.
Yeah, absolutely. They deserve it. They're absolutely brilliant. Take care. Hope to talk to you again sometime. Number 19's coming home, baby.
Is right, Dave.
Cheers.
Thanks, mate.